Good evening, brothers and sisters, or good. You don't really want to say good night because I'm not going to bed yet. But anyway, let's just go ahead and say good night anyway. It's the proper time for it. It's almost 10. It's after 10 o'clock at night. Bless you, baby. I sprayed some air freshener in his room, and it probably got into his sinuses because he's a sneezer. I do the same thing though too. He'll probably sneeze a couple more times before he's done. But anyway. So when you're hearing that, that's my baby brother, JJ. Oliver, what? There is Oliver, so everybody can see him. The puppy's in her cage. I put her in there a little bit ago. My cousin came about 2 hours ago and was bringing some stuff I had to get at the door, and I didn't want my dog running out. Plus, we're like, I don't know, we look like we're getting storms tonight or something. I know the wind's been blowing, but it was really hot today. I was just in my kitchen, and I got an air conditioner right here. Okay, this is where the air conditioner is. You can see it right there. That doorway over there is my kitchen, okay? That's how far I was from the air conditioner. And I was hot in there, which I did have the oven on at one time, so that could have been me hot. I didn't even think about that. But no, the one time I was in there, I hadn't even turned the oven on yet. I don't think I was doing dishes. At that point, the water was hot, and it does make, when you're washing dishes, your hands are in hot water, it does make you kind of heat up a little bit. But anyway, over that, okay? I was sitting here in my chair, and I was thinking about teachers that I had in school. And this one teacher I had, she was such a sweetheart. She really was. I really just loved her as my teacher, and she's dead and gone now, I think, because I think I saw her. Her name was Buthia McCormick, and she was a black teacher, and she was a wonderful lady. I mean, I loved this teacher. Out of all my teachers I had in school, she took time because she cared. She talked to me about things, like when she got up one time, I know this is kind of gross, but to me it wasn't. It showed that she valued my opinion. And when she stood up, and some of y'all might not see it this way, but people here in West Virginia, we know what's what, okay, with other West Virginians. She stood up and she asked me if the back of her pants were dirty, and I said no. We were sitting on the bleachers together, side by side. She asked me that, and she goes, well, I'm on my period. I said, no, there's nothing coming through. And I have a mother. But anyway, or I had a mother at that time. I still have a mother, but she's in heaven. And I'm glad her and my dad are both there. But this evening, as I was sitting here thinking about that, I started crying. Just seeing how wonderful life is. Just how God has given us life, and the life that He has given us is it was a gift, and everyone has taken their life in different ways, and all of us had misused the gift of life, and we have done wrong, and we turned our back on God, and turned our back on the truth of God, the Word, the light, Jesus. We turned our back on Him when we were in the world. And I don't care who you are, sometime in your life, if you're been in church when you were little, but then when you got to 10, you weren't really following God, you were following the flesh. And then, like for me, when I was when I first got in when I got into like my early 40s, I think I was maybe 39 or something like that, when I gave my heart to the Lord, or I may have been 40 already, but it was in 2008. So I turned 39 that year. Yeah, I was 39. And the following year I turned 40. It was like on August 31st I turned 39. And I got saved on September the 23rd. That evening around 7-ish. It was still daylight outside, but I remember kneeling beside my TV and praying. And I remember the feeling when I went to stand up, it was like a big weight had been lifted off from me. And you know, being a homosexual, that is a demonic possession to make you think you're that way, okay? Because there's no ordinary person. He had to come up here and see me. There's no ordinary person going to act that way. And, you know, an ordinary person's not going to be like, you know, well, you know, they're just not going to be, sorry if you guys heard that burp, but they're not going to be so open to that. You know, it takes something to mess with your head, which is the devil. And I have my proof that it is a demonic thing, because I've said this before and I'll say it again. When I was in the homosexual life and I was doing the drag clowning, or as they called it back then, female impersonations, I realized a difference in my attitude than I was when I was my normal self. I mean, I literally had major attitude. You know, I really did. Sorry, I'm trying to get these hair off my bandage here on my finger. They're my hair. Anyway, I'll just say it this way. I know, because my attitude when I had a dress, makeup, wig, and all the female stuff on me, I had an attitude like I was it. I was the only one. But when I took that stuff off and was my male self, I didn't have that attitude. I was totally different. I didn't talk the same. I didn't act the same. So I know that was a demonic possession. I know that I was, you know, possessed by some kind of demonic presence. And I believe when I kneeled down that night and I prayed, that very possession over me was lifted. I felt the weight literally being lifted out of me and off of me, okay? And what really, looking back, I didn't really think about it when I did this. I was coming back from taking a friend in that lifestyle that I was started out to be, you know, with, and we just became roommates. But anyway, like I was saying, I remember I was taking his friend back up where we had been moving out all of his mom's stuff. And back then I had a friend who's the one I've told y'all about before. Her name is Chrissy, and her friend, you know, in that life that she still has, she's still with, she still considers them a couple and everything, which I know by the truth that that's not. Sorry, I had to lay back here. I was on my leg. And as big as I am, you don't want to stay on the leg. Make it go numb. Well, it didn't. I just had to sit down. Anyway, it probably would have. But anyway, like I was saying, you know, she is still with that woman, and they don't realize, even though I gave that woman a Bible to tell her, you know, read it, and, you know, and know it. They seen where I was at. They seen how bad I was, how desperate I was, that I wanted someone in my life that I took whatever came my way. And that was the truth. When I was in that life, I didn't care. I mean, I had met some, you know, shady characters in that life. Really, I did. Now, one of the characters he kept, I guess you could say, guest starring in my life a few times, until I finally said, no, I don't want that person around me anymore. And he's even tried, since I've been out here in Jackson County, he's even tried to friend me on Facebook, and I block him every time he tries, because I don't want to talk to this guy. Is drama with a capital D. I mean, all not parentheses, but all cap letters in drama. That's him. From the beginning to the end of drama, he is drama. If he can't hear any, he'll go dig some or make some himself. And whenever I was around him, he treated me like I was dirt. And I didn't deserve to be treated like that. I had a friend who was a friend of a dear friend of mine. His name's Mike, and he needed a place to stay. So I gave him a room to stay in. I said I don't have no problem with that, and he came and stayed with me and my brother. Well, this person was at my house at the time then, and I remember he told my friend, her name's Barb, he told her, he said, Cecil don't deserve to be treated the way he's treating him. He doesn't deserve it. And he said that he felt so many times like just haul off and punching Denzel for the way he was talking to me. Well, he didn't, because he thought it'd make me mad. And actually, I wouldn't want him to do that. I wouldn't want him to even, dirty his hands on wanting to hit somebody like that, because there was no sense in it. Because that boy, like I told you, he loved drama. He would have turned around and went out there and probably filed a lawsuit against Mike, and Mike couldn't afford that, But anyway, my hair, come on. But anyway, Mike was kind of like a dad. He was the same age as my mom. So he was kind of like a dad figure. Now, not that I ever called him dad or anything, but I think he kind of seen me as his, I don't know, like kind of like a child of his, like he felt about me the way that a dad would feel about his children. And he didn't like the way I was being treated by this person. But I finally got this person out of my life, and I hadn't seen them probably since 2005. So it's been almost 20 years, and I don't want to see him. I don't, because I have no use for what his life is. I have no use to be around anyone who's serving the devil in homosexuality. I don't want that. I don't even talk to my niece and nephew because they're in that lifestyle. I mean, if my niece calls me, yes, I'll call her. I mean, I'll talk to her and everything, but I'm not going to go out of my way to call her and try to make her talk to me. If I don't enter her mind in some way for her to call me, then, I'm not going to call her, because the phone works two ways. And I'm home basically all the time. She works, so it's better for her to try to get a hold of me than me get a hold of her. Same thing with a friend of mine, the one I said, Chrissy. I talked to her about, it's been over a year ago now when I talked to her. And she said, how about if I call you tomorrow on my lunch break? And I said, yeah, that'd be fine. But I never heard from her. Never heard from her again. I know she's seen my cousin Vicky's posts when she put up on there about me being in the hospital. And then me going to the nursing home. Thank you, Jesus. I know I've thanked you before, but I'll never quit thanking you for being there with me through it all. And he was holding my hand while I was in those places, because I wasn't fearing nothing. Except for one time I had fear. Well, I was scared, not really. It was more scared, but not to fear, but I was scared, like kind of shaky. Maybe I was fearing having to go and have another wound back put on me. Well, and that's for this thing on my side here, the incision where they took my gallbladder out. Well, anyway, when I was in the hospital, and then when I came out of the hospital, I just had, it was like stapled. And then I went back to the doctor, I don't know how many weeks later, and he removed the staples. And it was like gapping open, but they were taking care of packing it, with saline solution, and that's how the body healed itself. But they were going to put another wound back on me, and when I got home, they were going to do it too. But I never went back to have it. I learned how to do it, and God got me through it, and God healed me up. And it's healed. I mean, I've showed on my videos before that it is healed. But anyway, like I was saying, in this situation, I was in there, and my cousin, I think, was pretty much keeping people, up to date on what was going on. So everybody who read her page, or even my page, where she probably, put it on my page for people to see too, and all she had to do was tag me in it, and it's on my page. So I know that she's seen that I was in the hospital. Not once did she ever try to get a hold of me on my Facebook or nothing. And I did have my phone at the hospital, so I could see what was going on. So, I never heard from her. But you know what? It doesn't make me not care for her. I still care for her, but I'm not going to be in with anybody in that lifestyle, because I don't need my past in my face every day. And I was just trying to get her because I know her since she was 4 years old, and she'll be 46 in September. I've known her for 42 years. I mean, I watched her practically grow up. I did watch her from 4 years up till she was in her 20s and 30s, or maybe her 20s, maybe early 30s, something like that. I can't remember, but anyway. And I desperately do care about her. I even care about Tabby, her friend, but I can only do so much. I talked to them, they didn't want to hear it, but they did hear what I said, and God's word does not return to him void. But as I was saying, tonight, as I was sitting here in this chair and watching TV with me and Jason and relaxing a little bit, I felt just, how precious life is. God gives us life. It's a gift. It is a gift from God. Many waste it. And many die without even not, always wasting everything they are and everything they have on either drugs or drinking or carousing or, fornicating or committing adultery or being unfaithful to, you could be unfaithful to a friend too, in a way. And it's not a sexual, unfaithfulness. It's going out and telling people about a friend and making other people think bad of them when you're only making stuff up to get your friend in trouble with somebody, because you like to see people in trouble, and then you can bounce in. But the thing of it is, some people do tell who told them, and when it comes back to them, they let the person who's saying it know, this person told me this, and I'm the type of person, I don't deal with anybody like that. If someone becomes like that around me, wanting to start trouble with everybody, then I have to say I'm sorry, but no. I was talking to a friend of mine about people that she knew, and I had to stop it. And now when they're talking about something, I just had to say, I'll say, but that ain't right. They don't need to be doing that. But I'm not trying to get real deep into it like I used to, because I used to involve myself wanting to help people and help them to feel better by saying stuff that, by what they were saying, And I'm not saying that people that say this aren't being truthful, but I don't know the story. I don't know both sides, and the other side is just as important to know before you make any kind of judgment on anything. So I ask, if I didn't, God, ask you completely, please forgive me for that, because I don't want to be a person that's, judging people behind their back, because that's not right. It's not for us. God is the judge, and he sees all things. But I had to stop doing that, and it's hard because I'm so used. I've always wanted to help people, and most of the time, in my life, I don't know. I'm pretty sure I know some of the people, but I can't remember. It's been too long ago. I'll be 54 in a couple months, so I really can't remember everything back 50, 40, 30 years ago, But like I was saying, I noticed this evening when I was watching tonight, with me and Jason watching TV, I kind of sat here in my chair and I was reminiscing in my mind about people from, my childhood and teenage, young adulthood and all that. And mainly school time and stuff. And how precious those lives were. How precious the life was at that time. And I remember when this one teacher named Miss Cavender, she opened the door to her apartment, and I could smell like the fresh smell of clean, in her apartment. But I remember looking, and now I'm looking back, I think about, how did these people value life? I kind of know that I think Sandy did value life, because she was in a pretty bad car wreck, and she was coming to work one morning, and I don't know if she fell asleep or what happened, but she went off the road and went over an embankment and hit a telephone pole or something, and it done she had stitches over top of her eye, and I can't remember what all else. When she came back to work, she had a black eye, and she came to work one day, but she had to take more days off after that because she still was healing up. But she wanted to come and check on us because we hadn't we've been in our regular classroom, we had to stay in a regular classroom for her, for everything. And like that's like when I was in, I think it was the 8th grade or 9th grade, when junior high was junior high and high school was high school and elementary school was elementary school. I had to come out of my class to go to regular English. Now, I don't understand how in the world I got regular English class. I don't understand that. Because personally, I didn't mind being in the special need, the slow learning class. Because I found out when I was in high school, in the 10th or 11th grade, which I quit in 11th grade because a guy threatened to shoot me, and you know how bad shooting is now. It probably could have started then, so I never went back, and I didn't care. And I met that guy years later, and he acted like, he acted like he was just, I don't know, like he was just different, he was better than me or whatever. But anyhow, like I was saying, I got to hurry up because my battery's saying it's 14%. Through it all, I know how much life is. It is a gift from God, and look back at your life, times in your life when you were, when you were like growing up, and you look back. Maybe you still have your parents, and if you do, then you're blessed. Or you have one of your parents, you're blessed, and you can think back of the times, even with your parents that's with God already had passed on. And like my parents, I can think back when we were doing things and laughing and stuff. Although now I don't really have thoughts of anything. I watch TV and I don't even worry about what I'm watching because my mind's just looking at it, for that time period of watching, and that's it. I don't remember any of it to tell anybody unless I'm watching something and I want to tell somebody, oh, you ought to see what I saw, on TV and stuff. I'll remember certain, I don't remember it all, but I remember certain parts of it enough to tell about it. If they want to see it, they can look it up. But anyway, brothers and sisters, life is a gift from God. It's a gift that He's given to us, but He gave us the most expensive gift, not money, but in everything. This gift was beyond any dollar amount. And that was His only begotten Son that died so that we could have life and have it more abundantly with Him in heaven. And that very Son, the only begotten Son of God, is coming back very soon to take us home. Brothers, look around. Sisters, look around. Everywhere you look, there is signs of the time. Everybody wants to holler, well, no man knoweth the time or the date or the hour. I know. But see, you're only reading part of the scripture where it says no man knoweth the date or the hour. But Jesus also said, you will know by these days, by these signs, that my time draweth nigh, even at the door. We're at the door, people. We are at the door, people. We need to stay strong. We need to keep praying for each other. Pray for our lost loved ones. I love you all. I'm going to end it here, and I hope that I just felt like I needed to say this. I mean, I got on here just right before I done this video, and I went off because I started thinking about these drag clowns and these transsexuals and stuff saying, their new little cheer, and I'm going to try not to do it again. Lord, hold me back so I don't do that. They got a new thing they're chanting, we're here, we're queer, and we're coming for your kids. Well, you know what? God's not going to let that happen. He's not. These little kids that don't know any better, that are still under the age of accountability, don't have the knowledge or anything, they're going to go in the rapture. They are. And I just don't see where any child under, I'd say the age of probably under the age of 18 or more, down. Maybe even 20 and down. But anyway, you give a thank to that, and if you think anything about it, just you can give me a message. Love you all. Please like and subscribe and share the videos if you need to. God bless you all. I'll see you, Lord willing, tomorrow. If not tomorrow, the next day. And if not, even better, I'll see you in the clouds with Jesus. Y'all have a wonderful night. Good night. Love you. Bye.